Hello, good day everyone, and welcome back to our channel, Psychology and Social Issues. And here we are again, we're going to talk about another topic in psychology. And for our topic, since we're done with the introduction to psychology, we'll be talking about in the succeeding videos that we're going to upload, we'll be talking about different topics of psychology. And for today's video, we'll be talking about social psychology. What is social psychology in general? Then for the succeeding videos, we'll be talking about it could be personality, it could be developmental psychology, it could be personality, so on and so forth. So that you'll get to connect these topics to one another. Okay, and for this video, again, as I've mentioned, this is all about introducing social psychology. Okay, so I'm going to share to you now my slide. Okay, so as you can see, again, social psychology. Now, what is social psychology? Yeah. Social psychology is the scientific study of how people think about, influence, and relate to one another. This definition is came from the Book of Myers 2013 or David Myers. So again, if you're going to look at the definition, there are three aspects that you need to consider when we study social psychology. It's how people think, how people influence, and how people relate to one another. Okay, and I have here another definition about social psychology, which is the scientific field that seeks to understand the nature and causes of individual behavior, feelings, and thoughts in social situations. Coming from Brascombe and Baron 2017. So again, it may be stated differently from the definition of Myers, but if we're going to look at it, somehow still talks about the three aspects presented by Myers, like how people think about, and there's something to do with behavior and feelings and thoughts. At the same time, how people influence and relate to one another is something to do with social situations. Okay? So the second definition somehow present a broader definition. Now, since it is considered scientific, remember in our previous discussion, our previous video, we talk about scientific, it is systematic. When we study social psychology, it should be systematic. We should follow what we have discussed in the introduction to psychology, the ways how to achieve a scientific psychology, so that we'll get to have a scientific social psychology as well. Again, this is a branch of psychology. Still, you need to do scientific process. Okay? And to achieve that scientific process, we need to follow or consider the core values in social psychology. What are these? First, we should remember that outputs and practices in social psychology, it should be scientific in nature. You should always remember the steps to do scientific psychology. Remember theorizing, hypothesizing, coming up with a hypothesis, data gathering, so on and so forth. Scientific in nature. And then you come up with analysis and your final output. So it should be scientific in nature. Second, focuses on the behavior of individuals. Focuses on the behavior of individuals. Going back to the definition, it is something to do with thoughts and feelings, and that can be observed through the behavior of individuals and how people relate, how people influence to one another. So as you can see, these things focus more on individual behaviors, I should say. Seeks to understand the causes of social behavior. Again, it's part of the definition that on answering the question how people think about, influence, and relate to one another. It means we are in search for the causes of social behavior. Why people um, relate or develop relationships, be it romantic or friendship or whatever relationships you have. How people influence physically and in even in social media or in online platforms. Okay, how they influence one another. Third, the fourth, the search for basic principles in a changing social world. Basically, it is something to do. It's very related to the third one. Basic principles or explanation to the changing social world. This is the good thing with social psychology because the things that we are going to talk about in social psychology are behaviors in relation to the social world. And the social world is changing. Most likely, that would change. That would also change the parlance of the social behavior. Say for example, for the past 10 years or 20 years, where social media is not yet that it's not that rampant. Um, you can hardly see people expressing their feelings in social media, but to individuals, to counselors, to parents, and to anyone whom they can trust with. However, right now, 20 years after, with the advent of social media, with the uh, influence of social media, people now are expressing themselves in the social media and no longer to the individuals whom they can trust with. Okay, so that could be an example. I'll say another example is that courtship. 20 years ago, courtship happens through physical contact or physical or face-to-face contact. But with the advent of social media, it changed the courtship. The changes in courtship happens where individuals express their feelings or interest or love interest, romantic interest through social media without face to face contact. Okay, so again, this is the effect of the social media. It changes the world. So it changes also the behavior of individuals. Okay? So what again we need to go back. What are the things we will focus in studying social psychology? So these are the three: how people think about, how people influence others, and how people relate with others. Okay, so these are the three. And under this, let's check what are the subtopics that we are going to cover under each aspect. So, how people think about, we are going to talk about social thinking. These are the topics that we'll be talking about. How we perceive ourselves and others, what we believe, judgments that we make about ourselves and others, and our attitudes. Okay, so these are the four main topics that we'll be talking about social thinking. And this is the first part in social psychology. It's because before talking about how influence and how we relate, we should first know about ourselves. And part of social thinking is how we perceive ourselves and others. We need to understand how we think because that will influence also your thinking influences others as well. Okay? So expect that the succeeding videos will be presenting discussions about these things. We'll be presenting theories about social thinking. Okay. Next, social influence. What are the topics? We need to talk about culture. What kind of culture do we have? Conformity, persuasion, groups, groups of people. So how people persuade? What is the effective way to persuade individuals? Conformity. Why do people conform? And groups. What's the effect of groups? Why people going to uh, following groups, joining clubs, joining fraternities, going to rallies or demonstrations in the streets. So these things are part of our discussion. Then social relations, so prejudice, aggression, attraction and intimacy, helping. Okay? So these are the main topics. So again, in part of social relations, prejudice, aggression, attraction, intimacy, and helping. So expect several theories about these topics. So again, in the incoming videos that I'm going to upload, will be presenting in random and these topics. But first, I'm going to present the social thinking so that we'll be able to understand yourself before understanding how we influence and how we relate with other people. And take note in every video, be sure to finish it so that because I'll be presenting all examples on social issues that our environment or society is experiencing and try to explain and try to relate to what we are talking about in that video or what particular topic or theory that that video is focusing with. Okay? So please do like and share this video and do not forget to subscribe to our channel so that you'll be able to be notified when there is a new video uploaded. So thank you very much and have a good day.